Hi, everyone. This is Marilyn Turkovich, the Executive Director of the Charter for Compassion. And today is Compassionate California. This is the second in our 2021 presentation about compassionate cities. If you have an opportunity to visit our website, go under communities, and then on the right-hand side, you'll see the recordings from last year. It's our intention each month to bring to light the work of a compassionate community, a city, in this case, an entire state. And we're really excited to see what's going on in California. We have a number of states where there are many compassionate cities, Texas, for example, being one of them, and Florida, another, the Atlanta region, even another. So it's a great opportunity for us to think about, a compassionate initiative and how it almost explodes and makes itself known to other locales in a region. And you're going to see that today. And so I'm going to turn this over to Joanne Gaines, who is the lead team member for Compassionate California. And then you'll get a chance, an opportunity to see every person who's on this screen and find out what they're doing. Good opportunity to see how perhaps some of the innovative ideas that are going on in California could be reinvented in your own area of the world. Joanne?
Good morning, everyone. Joanne Gaines, one of the leadership team members with Compassionate California. So we're here to just share this morning, put ourselves out on the map in terms of the worldwide audience here. We are the Golden State. This is our official motto, actually got its start from back in the gold mining days in the mid-1800s for the many fields of poppies that are about to pop in the spring for our warm, sunny, California weather. So the gold and the blue from the blue skies and oceans are our colors. We play a very important, I think, yet challenging role. We may not be the biggest state behind Alaska and Texas, but we are definitely the most populous state in California, with 12% of the population. If we were our own country, we would be the 5th largest economy in the world, just to put things in perspective, behind the US, China, Japan, and Germany, I believe. We are often considered a global trendsetter, in ever so many ways, in popular culture, communication, information, economics, politics, and certainly in entertainment. But like everywhere, we have our challenge and issues we work, as well as our successes in areas where we flourish to celebrate. Often on the front lines, our problems can be intensified, but we are stepping up, working hard to promote, to be that model in trend setting, to work hard to promote, model, and grow compassion in action, and advocate for policies, programs, and resolutions that highlight and expand that work. We have a lot of successes and gifts to share. Like our overall Compassionate California community, those who are presenting here today are a mix of affirmed and compassionate communities and initiatives, large and small. Our biggest city is 4 million. You'll see we have one affirmed community who's about 2,000. And we're some very mature communities, as well as more recent starts, with a lot of different places that we got started from, with varying roots. You'll see many got started through the interfaith community networks, but I think just about as many got their start actually from the governing body itself or associated agencies. So we're all unique. Each community is unique. Each compassionate community and how it operates is unique. And so I think there's a lot to hear from everyone this morning. We're so grateful to the Charter for these opportunities. I personally have watched all of the Compassionate Communities webinars and have learned so much from each of them. Capital Region, 4 counties, Santa Clara, Monterey, San Bernardino, and San Diego. Santa Clara is a long time affirmed community, the other 3 being initiatives, but I think a lot to learn. Having a region and 4 counties, I think is a significant statement. And we're going to hear from 2 communities, Pomona and Rancho Cucamonga, who are nearby communities with really awesome partnerships between the community and the governing body, but with 2 very different operating models. So it'll be interesting to hear from them. Plus, we're going to hear messages from 2 of our champions in the California State Legislature, Senator Dave Cortese, new senator, newly elected senator, and Assembly Member Ash Clara. Yeah. Next, we're going to take a trip down the state, literally starting up in Sacramento, in cold country. You can see there. Take a little trip off to the left to San Francisco Bay Area. And down at the end of the bay, you see San Jose, which is where Santa Clara County is. And we're going to hear a lot from them and some messages from our assembly members. And then down to the Monterey area in the green right below that from our county community there. We're going to just take a trip down the coast, down the scenic route to Los Angeles. And we have a number of affirmed communities in LA that we'll just speak briefly to, and then take a little trip inland to the Pomona Valley Inland Empire area with a major compassionate hub there. And then we're going to take a trip back down the coast to San Diego, our newest county initiative that really got its start just less than a year ago during this COVID time, has made great strides. So who are we? Next slide. Compassionate California is actually our own organization. We're not a formal nonprofit. We have our fiscal sponsor, Earthways Foundation. And up at the top, you see some of our other leadership team members. We have a few new members who have joined us of late. We have an awesome team. Next, we have kind of a view of the communities we're going to cover today. On the left is our Northern California communities. You're going to hear from almost everyone there. On the right is Southern California. We're just going to touch on the Los Angeles area, spend some time in the Pomona Valley Inland Empire area, and finish up down in San Diego. There's also a lot of other initiatives out there. This is far from all of the compassionate communities in California. So you see some names at the bottom, almost all starting with an S, but it does, the community name does not have to start with an S, and we'll actually touch on Laguna Beach for a second. Since all of the work is really a partnership between the community and the governing body, we just want to do a quick shout out to the mayors and the city council who've adopted the charter along the way. This is just a few. We have 17, I think, that are formally affirmed. And the same with, and then there's those were the mayors. The County Board of Supervisors, we're going to spend some time again with Santa Clara County, and also with the California State Legislature folks, Dave Cortese and Ash Clara, who are our champions in the legislature. There's Dave Cortese and Ash Clara. And also a big shout out to our California partners. Today is really about the communities, but without our awesome partners, it's truly a relationship. All of us are on the team. And the 200 formal California partners, but the untold number of local and city community partners across every sector. So next we're up with Compassionate Capital Region, co-founded by Laura Hansen and Joan Marie. They've carved out a 7-county region around the Sacramento capital, and we're going to hear from them and all of their communities. So Lisa, if you could just do the next couple, get to Sacramento. So we're not going to dwell on any of these, but just to say some amazing work out of Sacramento. You're going to hear about their Compassion Ambassador program and a lot of the partner relationships and programs they have going. Elk Grove, I remember this date. It's my daughter's birthday, January 8th, 2020. They've been a long time community, but I think they were incorporated in 2000. So when they affirmed, it was actually, I think, their 20th year affirming in 2020. There's the team, and you're going to hear from Laura, I believe, all about Elk Grove. And next, Compassionate West Sacramento. And take a look at that date. They actually affirmed just a week ago. I was able to get online and watch the process. It was definitely inspiring. You see here pictured the Compassion Ambassador, Tanya Beverly, the top left, the mayor, and the council members, one of whom actually, having worked with the community, was able to put forward the resolution that was unanimously adopted just a week ago. So we're going to move over to San Francisco Bay Area. We're going to hear a lot from Girish and Santa Clara County, but I just want to touch on Compassionate Fremont, who's been a long time, very successful community. And again, this is one that got their start as in the interfaith community, which then branched off to their own independent team. So one of the now mayor, those signing, I think the second from the left was, I think she's now in her second term as mayor. So they've been on it the whole time. And then here we are, Santa Clara County. We're just going to move past them because we can hear significantly from them and all the policies they have in place. Coming down to Monterey, a whole county initiative. Lisa Berkeley, who's the lead of the Compassionate Monterey initiative, is also a city council member in Marina, one of the cities in the county, and is leading that effort there as well. She wears many hats. And we're also going to hear from a little community. This is our smallest affirmed community, about 2,000, I think, people. And they were affirmed a little over a year ago. Yeah, a year and a half or so ago. They flourish in the arts, as do most of the communities in California. Almost all of our communities have a very flourishing art piece of it. So here you see a street mandala one of the street mandalas they did in 2019. In LA, we have a couple of affirmed communities. Santa Monica from 2013, long time standing community and an active Facebook. In Compassionate Downey, this is one where just talking from one community to the next. A council member from one community was able to actually go talk to the then mayor of Downey, who already had an active program going within the community. If people are familiar with character counts and the pillars of character, they were able to, and they're active not just within their school system, but within their larger community itself with their character counts program. And it was pretty much of a done deal. They easily embraced compassion and signed on officially in August of 2019. In Pasadena, it's kind of a long-standing initiative. One of our leadership team members is a lead there, and they're active. If we can do the second slide for them, they're very active in the arts, social justice, civic engagement projects. So they've done a lot of murals of late. They have an active When Black and Brown Go Green campaign, When Black and Brown Vote, compassionate arts in the park. So many active programs along the way, and hopefully we'll be hearing from them in terms of formally affirming the charter shortly. And then we're going to spend a good bit of time in Pomona Valley and the Inland Empire. Again, two very successful cities there, Pomona and Rancho Cucamonga. We're going to hear from both of them and their two different models, as well as from the San Bernardino County initiative themselves. So we can just probably go quickly through the next because they're all going to cover theirs. I've spent a lot of time listening in and helping with Compassionate Pomona. Always inspiring to hear. I think they've got about 60 active partners going, very active with the mayor, with the city staff, with the school system, and all you'll hear about with the police as well. You'll hear from them.
Sorry about that, Joanne.
Rancho Cucamonga. Hopefully Lisa's keeping up with me. Rancho Cucamonga. This is very different in that it's actually managed out of the city in the city manager's office. And so their Compassionate Communities program is a part of the city's Healthy RC program, which has been active for quite some time, very successful. And in fact, last year, Rancho Cucamonga was one of 10 cities in the U.S. to receive the National Civic League 2020 All-American City Award. There's another affirmed community in San Bernardino County, Redlands. Here, it was a combination of being initiated through the Redlands area, an interfaith community, the Redlands Area Interfaith Council, and their Human Relations Commission. That's happened a couple of times where the Human Relations Commission has actually been a major part of the activities of the work. And then our overall Compassionate San Bernardino County initiative. This is led by brother and sister team, Josiah and Jessica Bruni, and Music Changing Lives. So they're going to wear two hats today, leading the initiative in San Bernardino, as well as Music Changing Lives, which is a very wonderful program for youth in the community. If we can go to their second slide, also doing a lot of campaigns out in the community. You'll hear all about no justice, no peace, red paint, not hate. And here are three of the murals that they're doing, even well outside of the community of the county itself. So I think San Bernardino, Riverside, and some plans for others beyond. Just a real quick touch on Laguna Beach. This is one I want to mention them because they're already a very active World Kindness USA city, affirmed there in 2018. This is a program run by Shadi, who's an education program that works against bullying. Extremely active with huge support from the city mayor and council, and looking to affirm it as a compassionate community as well. There's another, the same, Solvang. I think they were an affirmed World Kindness City USA community a little bit earlier and doing tremendous work as well. So they're twin pillars, kindness and compassion, and it's exciting to work with them. And last but not least, we have San Diego. They're our newest community, and Rose's, you'll hear the story evolve along the way. Started up again less than a year ago in a time of COVID, and has really built up an awesome team, a youth ambassador council, and some substantial program all within that year. So Marilyn, thank you. I'll turn it over to you to pass this off to all of our amazing community.
Thank you, Joanne. It's interesting, there are some comments already coming through and questions. So here's one thing that we can provide. Everyone who registered for this event will receive in a few days a link to this recording. And also, if it's acceptable with everyone, the names of each person who is presenting. And so the question about how can I get in touch with Pomona will be answered. You'll have the contact person and the email. So watch for that in a few days in your email box. And we're going to move on because as you can see, there's an awful lot to cover. And we're going to start with the Capital Region and Sacramento. And the two women, the co-founders of this, are Laura Hanson and Joan Marie. You heard their names already. They are mighty folks in this region and have been involved with the charter for a number of years. And a shout out to Joan Marie because she's also involved with the sector Women and Girls for the charter. That's another thing we're going to incorporate in your email. If any of you are interested not only in compassionate cities and finding out about all the good works and things that are going on, we're going to do a little invitation for you to consider becoming a volunteer to one of our 12 sectors, from the arts to science and research, social justice, restorative justice. I'm going to stop there. No need to name all 12. And I'm going to turn it over directly to Laura Hanson. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Marilyn. And I'd like to start by thanking the Elk Grove, West Sacramento, and Sacramento teams for letting me represent all of them today during this webinar. I'm going to share my screen, and am I allowed to do that? Am I set up? Okay. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Great. I'll see that. So in 2015, Compassionate Capital Region was established to cover the what's known as the Sacramento metropolitan area, which is a 7-county area with a population of about 2.5 million and covering about 21,000 square miles and incorporating 26 cities, as well as many unincorporated cities and towns and communities. The mission for Compassionate Capital Region is outreach and education to raise the awareness of what compassion work is, to let people know that there is an international movement on kind of creating a partnership between communities and city and county governments around compassionate policy. So our goal with Compassionate Capital Region is to inspire and inform so that residents can know that they can organize and have the support locally, regionally, statewide, nationwide, and worldwide around this work. Compassionate Capital Region also is the kind of manages operations for Compassionate Sacramento. We're the steward of that, and we build the programs and teams and community partnerships for that project. And we also are an advisor to the organizing teams for Elk Grove, West Sacramento, and all the other communities that over time will rise up and organize. And so we help them kind of move through the process so they can be successful. And we also participate in the statewide monthly meetings and support in projects as needed. going to share first about Compassionate Sacramento. And Compassionate Sacramento affirmed, my gosh, 3.5 years ago. Time flies. And all of these projects for Compassionate Capital Region, and probably all of us are volunteers. We do this in our spare time, and in my case, in the case of many of the team members, we're doing the work already in the work we do. And so it gives us a way to bring organizations together around the idea of compassion. So we have over 80 Compassion Alliance partners, which means that NGOs and private business have said, yes, we agree. This is important. How can I help? And so Sacramento was incorporated in 1850, so it's a very old town. Lots of perspectives and habits that we're slowly shifting. So Compassionate Sacramento, over the last 3 years, has developed some structure around its programs. We have a district compassion ambassador program, and these folks up here in the photo are our compassion ambassadors, and we continue to expand that group. We have a lot of other programs that we can talk about maybe in our question and answer, and certainly anyone who's interested, we can go into it. Our current partnership activities, we have a quarterly online event in partnership with Music Changing Lives and NAAC San Bernardino and Just Be You on a healing event for activists and volunteers and people who give to others. We also, through the Sacramento General Congress of Women, we're hosting them at an exhibit at the Crocker Art Museum, and that's led by Joan and her team of 12 other women who are leaders in the community. And we also are working with the city and other community organizations around a shelter and kind of enrichment program for the unhoused. And Melinda Penny Washington is leading that. And we're working on a partnership right now with Capital Public Radio on community circles for some of their programs. Compassionate Elk Grove is down the road a piece. They incorporated, as Joanne mentioned, in 2000, and they're one of the fastest, have been one of the fastest growing cities, and they're the second largest city in Sacramento County, next to Sacramento itself. Paul Merrill is, I believe, on the call today. Hello, Paul. And they've got two programs going on at the moment. One is in partnership with the City of Elk Grove, designing a framework for local monitoring of resident well-being, and that is kind of in development. That's my timer saying my 5 minutes are up. And they're also in conversation with the city's youth leadership to discuss ideas around youth engagement. And over here on the right of the slide, it's what Compassion Elk Grove's plan is for promoting compassion. And like many of us in our communities, the first is the recognition of compassionate service already done, identifying where more compassion is needed and ways to provide it, and then advocacy for more compassionate approaches and raising the awareness. And then also making available resources through what they'll develop as a library. And just keeping the conversation going, keeping their city officials accountable to compassionate policymaking. And I'm very excited to say that after a couple years of very diligent work by our compassion ambassador, Tanya Beverly, and the team from West Sacramento. They have, they've done it, and we've joked now that the city has affirmed the charter, now the work can begin. This is my hometown, actually, and their main focus is expanding food security. And given that West Sacramento is a food production hub, that's appropriate. And also access to housing, resilience to climate change, and pathways to upward mobility. And West Sacramento does have a proud history of compassionate action, both by the city and by the nonprofits and residents. And their goal is to help knit the community together, to bring awareness to resources that are available. And really their work is just starting because they just affirmed last week. So we're very excited for them. They have strong partnership with the city government. And I just am excited about what's going to happen. So that's a fast overview of what's happening in Compassionate Capital Region. And it's exciting, and thank you for letting us start off.
Great. Thanks so much, Laura. One of the things I believe you'll be hearing throughout this presentation is the collaboration that happens from the grassroots, from the interfaith organizations, the various partners that come together to begin the process of declaring movement towards a compassionate city, approaching local government. And I'm going to speak in those terms for people who might be here and listening to this later from other countries. And so the idea is to really build the strong coalition between the grassroots and between the local government in order to really be part of one another's efforts and to act collectively to bring about the greater good. So it's pretty exciting that you started us on that notion of, what it means to really embark on a campaign and look to just different areas of need within a local community. So now we're going to go from the capital region. And before we started this presentation today, we were talking behind the scenes. And the next person is our fastest speaker. So we encouraged him to slow down. And Laura invited her slowness to be shared with Girish. So let's see if it's going to work. Girish has probably been around the longest of anyone who's on this call. I don't know, maybe Sacramento and the capital region were at the same time. But Girish has really been involved a great deal. He is almost the father of Compassionate California. I say that without ever asking anyone's permission to do that, but he certainly is the team leader. So Girish, we're going to turn this over to you.
Good afternoon, and I am going to try to slow down. I'm going to share my slides, so can you see it? And can you hear me all right? Okay. And we are talking about San Francisco Bay Area, but mainly about Santa Clara County. And let's see, I want to say is that unlike other regions, we did not form an organization called Compassionate Santa Clara County or Compassionate Silicon Valley, which to us is almost synonymous because Silicon Valley is largely Santa Clara County and few other communities. At the Silicon Valley Interreligious Council, our goal is, our motto is to promote interreligious harmony and promote just and compassionate society. Since our motto is promote compassionate society, we felt in 2012, when the Compassion Games were started, that we were natural for it, and we started to participate in Compassion Games in 2012, and has been participating ever since. the team, as you see here, consists of few people who are working. The important part I want to say is our philosophy was that we do a lot of things as a community, a lot of nonprofits do as a community, but unless we get the policies and resolutions and laws that are compassionate, we are not making a dent. So our effort was always to improve the active participation by the civil servants or our leaders, and they formally adapting all of the different policies. So after adopting compassionate Santa Clara County resolution, when Dave Cortese was the president of the board, he has spearheaded all of these different resolutions, different initiatives at the county, which are all to increase compassion within the Santa Clara County. So I feel very good about it that some of the thoughts about compassion has already gone into our laws, our regulations, and that helps. So with that, we have a message from Dave Cortese, Supervisor Dave Cortese then, now the state senator, from our District 15, my own district, and we will have him give us his.
Hi, I'm California State Senator Dave Cortese. I'd like to thank Compassionate California for allowing me to say a few words today. When I served as president of the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, I was able to declare our county a compassionate county with the help and support of your organization and your representative and my good friend, Gira Shaw. We affirmed at that time that Santa Clara County was a county where no one was forgotten and where anyone who wishes to live in acceptance can find refuge. In my role now as a state senator, my policies will continue to be guided by the same desire to establish and cultivate compassion across California. We're home to a diverse population of races and cultures, but this doesn't mean that we're exempt from hate and from xenophobia. Hate is not a problem we can ignore. We have to be proactive in every way to ensure that our community, especially our future generations, grow up in a region free from hate where they are allowed to express their own identities in peace. Thank you so much again for allowing me to be here and to share with you for all the work that you do. God bless you all, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
I'm actually glad that Dave has been elected as a state senator, because now we have a voice in Senate. We already had a voice in the Assembly through our representative from Assembly District 27, Ash Clara. And both of these fellows are good friends of mine. So I immediately started to work on both of them to reinitiate the process of Compassionate California resolution that was not taken up last year. So let's hear from Ash Clara as to what he has to say, because they are both the real champions of compassion.
Hello everyone, I'm California State Assembly Member Ash Clara, and I want to thank all of you for joining for the Compassionate California webinar. So last year I was honored to join my former colleague, Assemblymember Kansan Shu, in the authoring of a resolution having California be recognized as Compassionate California, which basically means we show compassion for everyone. And right now we see so much hatred. We've seen it against the API community. We've seen it across the board, this sense of tension and anger that I think we can only root out if we're intentional about really calling ourselves compassionate, not just in words, but in deeds. And so I'm very grateful for the opportunity to continue to push forward here in the state of California until California becomes Compassionate California, a place where everyone is welcome, a place where we resolve our issues in a way that is loving and that is collaborative. Until we get to that day, we must always commit to being compassionate and finding every opportunity to join together as sisters and brothers so that we can represent to the rest of the world that California is a place where we are welcoming, loving, and appreciate everyone. Thank you all so much, and let's keep on pushing ahead to make sure that we are always compassionate with one another. Thank you.
As you can see, both of these champions are really passionate about compassion. So we have a good chance of getting compassion into the state legislature. Just going back to the history, as I told you that we started to play with compassion games in 2012, and each year we organize various campaigns. I'm just going to see in 2016, we started out with getting the compassion days as resolutions adopted by the city of San Jose, the county board of supervisors in Santa Clara, as well as city of Milpitas, as well as another award that we got as a civic was the URI award that was given to us about 2 years ago. This is to tell you about history of our activities in the compassionate Santa Clara County. We have participated in compassion games. Each year we can do the various campaigns. Compassion Games launch event was organized in 2016. The picture that you see here with Phil Lane, the hereditary chief, blessing us with these native prayers. And then we got the proclamations. But in 2017 is where the Board of Supervisors unanimous resolution to declare the Santa Clara County as County of Compassion. Ever since 2014, one of our main activities has been to do interfaith memorial for homeless people who have died on the street. And it supports two things. One is allows the friends to remember their friends who have passed away, as well as it makes awareness. So a year ago, when we were able to meet together, as you see in the picture where I'm talking, it was a forum that says, how do we eliminate the people sleeping on the streets? And of course, the picture on the left shows you the tombstones that we had. This one in the center shows 196 people that died. It actually just, fivefold increase from 5 years ago. So numbers are going up. And as a part of the memorial service, we also do food distribution, supplies distribution, and of course, the names of the people who have passed away and a silence for them. So this is one of the main activities. We also have so many compassionate activities that goes on as a part of our, Interfaith Council. The Teen Interfaith Council is a part of us. You can see the two pictures here of the Teen Interfaith. The Teen Interfaith used to go every year to Arizona for a 1 week of immersions into the Teen Interfaith. Whereas last year, because of COVID, they did a virtual visit to Arizona, and that big poster here shows the virtual visit. Civic organizes various forums, and you can see various forums. And as one of the things that we did in 2016 was create a virtual March for Unity. And there was just a march in the World Wide Web and a Facebook page where people go, like the pages, and we were trying to promote compassion that way. And just to round out, Civic has roughly about 30 different affiliates, and these affiliates also perform various activities which are compassionate. One of them I want to point out is PACT, people acting in community together. They have beloved community programs, and you can see some of the events they have. Suchi Corporation, which is a nonprofit, and they did the COVID-19 services, as you can see in the middle there. And then you can see other service events that we participate. There was a Faith Leaders March earlier last year, where all of the faith people actually marched for the Black Lives Matter. So this is where all our partners are promoting compassion through the activities. We are blessed that to San Francisco Bay Area and Silicon Valley, particularly, there are so many nonprofits who provide compassion, and all kinds of compassionate actions are being taken place. So with that, I would just conclude that our next focus is passage of Compassion California resolution by the state legislature. And then next step is to work with 15 cities in the county so that each one of them would affirm the charter. Thank you. Thank you, Madeline.
Thank you, Garish, and thank you for slowing down. That was just excellent. You brought up some really interesting points. One is the Compassion Games. That is one of the strategic partners of the Charter for Compassion. And if you don't know about it, go to the website, compassiongames.org. And it's a great way to engage everyone at every age level in the city to do incredible acts of kindness. There's a very special time going on right now, which is in celebration of Martin Luther King and 40 Days of Peace, which will end at the end of the month. You can find out more on the Compassion Games website about that. But the really big push is for a wonderful campaign that happens starting on September 11th and ending on the International Day of Peace on the 21st. So we really invite cities, all cities and communities to get involved. These are practicing incredible acts of kindness towards one another, from being nice to the person who lives next door to participating in the kinds of activities that Girish was talking about. So thank you for that. And so now from the Santa Clara area, we're going down to Monterey County and all of the initiatives that are in process there. And we have two people to help us see what's going on, Jennifer Colby and also Lisa Berkeley. A word about Lisa, she might not mention this, but she is the lead on our peace sector for the charter. And there are great things happening with that sector. And again, you know, we invite all cities and all individuals who are maybe not a part of city, compassionate cities to take a look at the possibilities of getting involved in these different areas. Over to you, Lisa and Jennifer.
Thank you, Marilyn. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a discussion rather than a bunch of slides right now for the work we're doing. So Compassionate Monterey County, or COMOCO as we're affectionately called, is an initiative that began just in discussion in about 2018. And we're still in the early stages of building a strong grassroots level of engagement. So to begin with, we're a large county of close to 4,000 square miles, which I believe is close to 9,000 or 10,000 square kilometers, with incredibly diverse communities and populations and industries, from rural farming, in fact, we've been called the salad bowl of the world, to tourism and education. Defining who we are and how we wanted to most effectively engage in our county has really been a challenge because of that diversity. So we've asked ourselves, how do we best represent all of our residents and all sectors of our communities? How do we be sure that we're inclusive in ways of engagement? What is the most effective approach? Well, there are close to 200 not-for-profits in Monterey County, and we understood that these organizations are potentially a foundational entryway to engagement, as they're already doing very good work in different sectors of society. And it's work that would likely be considered the cornerstones of building compassionate communities and cities. So we've decided to begin there. And what we'll begin doing in March is each month we'll focus on one or two organizations or people within the county who are already doing this work. We'll reach out to them and educate them about our Compassionate Monterey County initiative and invite them to sign the Charter for Compassion, and therefore then becoming partners both in the Charter and also in COMOCO. And then we will highlight their work through our social media platforms, award them with a certificate of recognition, and produce a webinar showcasing their work. And through this process, Camoca will grow, and eventually we will bring this initiative to the Board of Supervisors for recognition and an invitation for them to sign the charter as well, and then becoming one of the first Compassionate California counties. The next area that I want to discuss is working on the city's initiative. And as I think Joanne said in the beginning, I'm a city council member, so this is a little bit unusual, I think. Generally, it's a grassroots initiative that goes to then city governance. But because I've been fortunate enough to be involved in the grassroots movement of this initiative in a number of ways, it seems like almost a no-brainer to bring it to our city. So in Marina, we're still in our very early stages of planning again, and we'll be developing along the same lines as I just described for Compassionate Monterey County. In addition, the city, along with Compassionate Capital Region and other cities in Monterey County, will be the pilot for the Compassionate Governance Index, which is a tool for assessing the direction and growth of a city through the intersective lens of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, Healthy Cities Movement, and Compassionate Cities. Again, we're still in our early stages with this, but it looks to be a very promising quantitative approach for measuring compassionate cities. And so we'll keep you all abreast of how this is unfolding. And with that, I'm going to turn us over to Jennifer Colby. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm happy to be part of the Compassionate California leadership team and also working with Lisa on Monterey. But I also engage with San Juan Bautista, which, yes, is about 1,600 people, and paired with my town of Aromas, which is not incorporated. We are a very rural area, inland from the Monterey Bay area. And I would like to do a land acknowledgement. We are the Mutsun Ohlone land, and we work closely with Indian Canyon, which is in San Benito County, is federally recognized Indian territory. And out of this connection and dedication to understanding the indigenous perspective, we did a project which you saw in the slides earlier, which were mandalas, street mandalas, and the streets of San Juan Bautista. We did this during the 150th anniversary of the founding of San Juan Bautista, which is a California mission town. In the context of being a mission town, there's a lot of concern about the non-recognition of indigenous histories and recognizing that the people of the Mutsun language still live and thrive in our area. And so we embarked on the mandalas as a way of claiming space through the arts, but also we were without specific representation that was from an indigenous culture. We worked to find the types of imagery that would really speak to the community about the values of indigenous culture, like having our mandalas go connected to the seasons and to harvest and to growth. And it was just a very loving, compassionate, intergenerational art project. And out of the year of doing that, our mayor, Cesar Flores, was so excited. And as this came out of our strategic city plan group, and I was on the local school board, it just all came together to say, let's declare us a compassionate city. And so that sort of sparked it, and we'll be going forward with our development as a compassionate city. So thank you.
So Lisa, any more?
I think that's good. I'm going to just kind of keep it simple today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Jennifer, thank you so much for acknowledging the land upon which you stand. I have learned that this is something that we need to do as often as we meet. Sometimes in the world of Zoom, It's a little difficult since we're standing on the land of so many indigenous people. But certainly it is a way for us to begin to think about our history. And so I will share with you, I am on the land of the Suquamish, which is known very much because of Chief Seattle. And so it's just a recognition, but in a way it's a prayerful act, and a way for us to begin to think about not only our history, but what we have taken from the land and the land of the people upon which we exist. So thank you for that. Okay, so now we're moving on. And I've always think of Pomona as being kind of an exceptional place. And maybe it's because I spent some time there because of Compassionate Pomona. And Jan Chase, Reverend Jan Chase, is the person who's going to be speaking about Pomona. But the thing that I found so interesting, and a number of our previous speakers have already talked about that, and that's the involvement, at least in the United States, of the city manager. Unfortunately or fortunately, mayors come and go. City managers stay with us for a much longer period of time. And if we can strategically get them involved in what's happening with our compassionate initiatives, then we really have a partner at the government level. And I remember so fondly the person who was the city manager and in Pomona, and how that really was very effective in bringing about Compassionate Pomona. So Jan, it's all yours now.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. And it is such a joy to be with all of you and to learn from everyone that is here. I am Reverend Jan Chase. I am the minister of the Unity Church in Pomona and convener of our Compassionate Pomona meetings. Pomona lies on Tongva land, and we are honored to share this land with many people that have come since the Tongva were here, and we do have Tongva in our group as well. It is my joy to introduce our team today that is presenting this Compassionate Pomona work. Andrea Rico is our Governmental and Community Affairs Manager for the City of Pomona. Linda Lowry is the one you were speaking about, Marilyn, who was our city manager, and she retired, but she now keeps our minutes and is very much involved in many aspects of our work. Lorraine Canales is a guidance counselor with our PUSD school district, and she's an overall youth service leader, receiving awards right and left for her service, particularly to youth. Paul Roach is the director of our advancement and communication at American Museum of Ceramic Art, and he has worked behind the scenes to assist us with this production. So take it away, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Jan. It's my honor to present the efforts of Pomona. I'd like to share a video from some leadership that was created early on in our effort.
You know, we became a compassionate city a few months ago. You know, there was a recognition that we couldn't remain in our silos, that we couldn't do this as an individual church, or we couldn't do this as an individual nonprofit, that there really needed to be a coming together of these gems in our community.
Law enforcement in general, police departments will not be successful at enforcing the laws without a relationship and some level of acceptance from the community.
I'm a superintendent. That doesn't mean I know everything. I'm very limited in what I know. But everyone has a story to tell, and so when I come into a space, I want to hear their story. I want to hear their history, because that will help shape wherever the direction we're going and who's going to lead, who's going to support, who's going to be the strategic planner. Is I want to know strengths, and the only way you're going to know that is listening.
As you can see early on, we had a lot of support, including city leadership and from the city manager. And the way we've structured our team is, you can see, these are some of the leadership team you can see here and the roles they play. This represents faith-based groups, nonprofits. It's also residents, youth serving groups. We have many stakeholders that participate on a regular basis through our monthly meetings. And we're also very fortunate to have representatives from government and education. You just heard from Pomona Mayor Tim Sandoval, who's been a strong advocate since the beginning. We also have the support of our council members. I am a staff dedicated to this effort. We have our Tri-City Mental Health Department represented. We have many representatives from the Pomona Police Department, as you just heard from our former chief, and finally from the Pomona Unified School District, not only board members, but you also heard from the superintendent. I'd like to share a couple of history, things in our history and accomplishments that we are very, very proud of. Since inception in 2018, we had Village Academy High School students create PSAs, public service announcements, and posters on issues in the community regarding compassion under the direction of William Brogy. We also, one of the first things we did was launch a Welcome Your Neighbors sign for Pomona. And Rose, who is on the call, and her husband translated the signs into Vietnamese, and you can still see these throughout the community of Pomona. Some other accomplishments I want to share before I turn it over to Lorraine Canales. Another effort that our Compassionate Pomona partners have participated in is canvassing projects, and especially focusing on the hard to serve neighborhoods or disenfranchised neighborhoods. We have promoted census information. We Count Pomona was a large effort they were a part of, going door to door. Also through COVID, we have shared information on the rental assistance programs that the city has secured funding for to prevent homelessness, distributed cooling fans to our seniors, and also distributed food to our families who are in need of food. One other thing that we're very, very proud of is we facilitate conversations with Pomona Police regarding compassion and community relations. Obviously, at the national level, we are concerned of the relationship with law enforcement. We are very fortunate that Pomona and the police department under Chief Ellis has an open door policy and really is engaged in all of our efforts. One final thing I want to share, we have adopted the city of Pomona and its council a respect-based civil discourse policy. And this is read at the beginning of each city council meeting, and it's listed on public speaker cards. And it's really an honor and a way to respect each other in meetings and how we're going to conduct ourselves. We oftentimes have to remind folks of it, but we are continued and committed to treating each other with compassion in meetings. I'd now like to turn it over to Lorraine Canales from the Pomona Unified School District to share a little more on our accomplishments.
Thank you. The mayor and city council members presented to Compassionate Pomona the official proclamation at the city council meeting on April 2nd, 2018. This was the beginning of a wonderful relationship and collaboration. April 2018, 60 Pomona leaders and stakeholders attended a 6-hour human value training presented by Laura Burgess. In August, Marilyn Trukovich awarded many individuals who completed a 3-month compassion course. Compassionate Pomona held 2 amazing community conferences. May 2018, the Inland Valley Interfaith Conference focused on inspiring compassion and inclusion. February 2019, the Pomona Reawakening Conference focused on ways to build a better Pomona. Many community leaders came together to lead discussions. Andy Quinones, a local artist, designed a symbol for Compassionate Pomona to create quilts that will be assembled and displayed around the city. These squares have been painted by many organizations. Compassionate Pomona has created monthly values that include random acts of kindness. Several members gathered together to decide on 12 different themes and agreed to create monthly proclamations, applications, and flyers for each month. Here's a sample of the November expression of gratitude by our local schools in Pomona. The International Institute of Restorative Practice trained many members of our community. The monthly meetings included collaboration, listening circles, and restorative conferences. Over 300 community members have been trained on stress-reducing sky breathing techniques. Participants included community members, educators, youth, and police. We organized an international summer youth program that consisted of many community partners that focused on compassion. Students from China and our local Pomona youth worked collaboratively in building compassion through meditation, self-values, emotional intelligence, music, and art. Compassionate Pomona inspired Dr. Diana Chavez Kitterman and Erica Walkingstick to create a coloring book for kids. The coloring book included compassionate cities, coronavirus, and sky breathing. The mayor, city council members, and many interfaith communities joined together to celebrate the life of Hum Bui, whom and his wife Rose loved the city of Pomona. The lovely couple will always be remembered as founding leaders for building compassion in our city.
Thank you so much, Lorraine. So as we move forward, obviously COVID has really changed the course of a lot of our work, but it hasn't changed our dedication to compassion. And Mayor Tim Sandoval has started a Pomona COVID-19 Action Committee. And so representatives from the Compassionate Pomona effort serve on this task force and focus on addressing the basic needs of our community related to COVID, access to education, health, both of testing and vaccines, our businesses and our economic development, and finally fundraising for those families who may not be able to access federal funds based on citizenship. Another thing we're working on, the City of Pomona is currently reviewing its city charter, which will go to a vote next fall. The Compassionate Pomona movement has worked with the City Charter's Review Commission to recommend including language around compassion. And we joke, it wasn't really as understood initial, but after months convincing by very passionate Compassion Pomona members, we were able to convince them of including compassion and to create a preamble, which has never existed in a city charter, keeping compassion a known value in our community for decades to come. And this, like I said, will be voted on, and you can see that's the language that will be included that we have proposed. Finally, I just want to say a special thank you. We wanted to acknowledge all our amazing community partners from representing all the efforts in Pomona, and you can see that there. 62 plus, and I'm sure we've missed folks, so our apologies. The list keeps growing, and we are welcome with open arms more of our partners. If you are interested in learning more about Pomona, you can contact Reverend Jan Chase or visit us on compassionatepomona.org or follow and like us on our Facebook at Compassionate Pomona. And these slides will be available following the conference. And at this time, we'd just like to, on behalf of Pomona, myself, the mayor and city council, we'd like to thank you for allowing us to present the amazing efforts of the Compassionate Pomona movement. And we are excited to learn from all of you as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jan, Lorraine, and Andrea. And you helped us remember the significance of having a liaison between a community initiative and the local city government. It's a great lesson, and I think you really offered a lot of possibilities to other compassionate initiatives, those that are going and those that are about to happen. Okay, we're going to move down. We have just to hear from a few more people, but Clarence de Guzman is our next presenter for Rancho Cucamonga. You know what? I always get it wrong. Cucamonga. Thank you, Clarence.
You got it, Marilyn. Thank you so much. So hopefully everyone can see my screen there. Good morning, or wherever you are in the world. Hello, everyone. My name is Clarence de Guzman. I am the Community Programs Coordinator for the city of Rancho Cucamonga. And I'm very honored to present to you our Compassionate Community Initiative for the city. And really, my goal this morning is to hopefully tell the story of how we become and how we came together as a community over the last few years to really embrace that culture of compassion for our city under this platform, or using this platform of compassionate community. So first off, you may be wondering, many of you may be wondering where Rancho Cucamonga is. And this you see on your screen, the city of Rancho Cucamonga encompasses nearly 47 square miles, and it's located about 40 miles just east of Los Angeles. And it's really considered to be one of the premier cities in the Inland Empire. And it is one of the fastest growing metropolitan areas in Southern California, with a current population of just over 179,000 residents. Let's see here. And actually last year, Joanne had mentioned this. Last summer, we are very proud to announce that the Rancho Cucamonga was recognized as one of the 10 All-America City Award winners in the country. The National Civic League presented us with this honor to really recognize Rancho Cucamonga's work in inclusive civic engagement and to address health and well-being and create stronger connections among residents, businesses, nonprofits, and government leaders. Being an affirmed, compassionate community has truly shifted the culture of our city in positive ways. And as a city, we become more conscious and intentional in how we operate, how we create policies, how we roll out programs, the type of programs that we provide, and really how we make decisions in our city. And I want to share this video just to highlight an example of how compassionate community has truly become a citywide movement in Rancho Cucamonga. It particularly highlights some of the city's initial response to the pandemic last year. So let's go ahead and watch this. So we really rallied around the campaign, and we've been using that hashtag, especially in our social media platforms, as a hashtag #BeKindRC. And again, speaking to the video, of course, since then, the city has rolled out other programs such as rental and business assistance programs to our RC Cares program to further assist our residents during these very challenging times. So how did we get there? And I'd like to provide, let's see here, a quick historical background and to back it up a little bit of how we specifically became a compassionate community and using that model that Joanne alluded to earlier. And we are unique in a sense that this initiative is ran directly through the city local government and the city manager's office, specifically under the city's Healthy RC program. And many of you may be already familiar with the Healthy Cities, Healthy Communities program across the country. So that's exactly what it is. And Healthy RC has been a successful city community partnership since 2008, receiving national recognition for our work to improve community health. The Healthy RC partnership is comprised of dedicated residents, community organizations, and public and private entities who volunteer their time and who collaborate to make Rancho Cucamonga the healthiest that it can be. And you see here on your screen just a little bit of the overview and the structure of the organization with Healthy RC in the middle there. And through a very robust and comprehensive strategic planning process that involved thousands of community members' inputs, Healthy RC was able to identify specific health priorities ranging from healthy eating and active living, mental health, disaster resiliency, community connections, among other things. And from there, the Healthy RC Steering Committee established the Compassionate Community for the city of Rancho Cucamonga. And in 2017, just a few years ago, the city council formally adopted a resolution that essentially affirmed the city as a compassionate community. And really, with the outlook that as the landscape of our nation and our world continues to change, we wanted to really provide an actionable way for all people who live, who work, and who play in Rancho Cucamonga to contribute to creating a unified community and becoming a part of a global movement that strives to bring our world together through kindness and appreciation of the human family. Along with that, Healthy RC formed a dedicated subcommittee group. Some of them are on the call today, so thank you for joining us, that oversees and directs some of the initiatives and projects for our compassionate community, with the goal of reaching every area of our community across all sectors and demographics. And you see here, just really quickly, in the interest of time, I'll kind of brush through these. Some of the core values for our group, inclusiveness, transparency, engagement, kindness, action. And also, of course, we also look at the data along with other cities. And why is that important for us? It really helps us, it drives us into action, right? And helps us as a city to be able to make strategic decisions on how to prioritize and run our programs. And of course, gather crucial support from our city leadership, including our city council. So the data really helps us tell the story, right? For example, what you see here is Healthy RC's most recent quality of life data, which essentially evaluates how various social determinants of health impact our community. And the percentages represent participants who reported often or always feeling connected with their local community, with Rancho Cucamonga in this case. And so how can we use the compassionate community as a platform and a vehicle to make the necessary improvements in our city? And that was really the question that we can ask when we look at some of this data. You see here on your screen, racial equity data that, again, we've gathered from those surveys as well. And really looking at compassionate community, using that as a vehicle to drive some of these actions and some of these programs, because we know that through an evidence-based approach, we are able to strategically roll out programs and campaigns that best support our community's needs. You see on your screen here, the compassionate community has led citywide efforts creating campaigns, service projects, and even social media challenges. It truly is a citywide effort across all city departments, and more importantly, our community members on the ground, our grassroots organizations that are actively involved and continue to participate in our programs and in our initiatives. And over the past few years, really these random acts of kindness have taken the city by storm, right? The residents and community groups have shared their increased appreciation and desire to make a difference in our city through these types of action that will ultimately help our city to creating a healthier, a more sustainable, and more resilient community. And just really quickly, you know, these are some examples on social media, some of the campaigns over the last few years for our city that we've highlighted. Acts of compassion. You see here a local school showing some love for the Rancho Cucamonga Police Department. Here in the city staff created a kindness calendar to promote and encourage acts of kindness in each department in the city. And we really love the community stories from our community members, right? This was a cool story that was shared to me. I'm new to the group, but this is one that I read when I joined the group that particularly touched my heart. Bruce is a Rancho Cucamonga resident, and he was recently handicapped in a car accident that had left him immobile for some time. And so despite his limited mobility, he has learned to appreciate how this initiative is making an impact in our community, and really sharing how, you know, he's been impacted even in small ways and small acts from random acts of kindness from people. And this is an example of the kindness cards that we share. You know, it's a sort of a pay it forward type of thing, where if you share an act of kindness to your neighbor, to your coworker, to a friend. And this is the last video that I'm going to share. It again highlights some of the things that we've been working on as a compassionate community and how we continue to roll out those efforts.
The compassionate community, for me, I can only speak for myself, but for me, is trying to leave a legacy of kindness, a legacy of joy for our children, to recognize that happiness can come from within. The compassion.
And so just to close off, just to kind of give a teaser of some of like the current projects that we're actively working on. Of course, a few of you have mentioned already some of the racial justice issues that have come at the forefront in our society, in our country, really, in the last year or so. And on November 12th, actually, Healthy RC's Compassionate Community hosted its first ever citywide symposium titled Building a Path to Unity, a virtual symposium on racial healing, equity, and unity. And almost 90 participants participated in the symposium, again, ranging from your regular residents and various sectors, including schools, faith-based groups, nonprofits, businesses, healthcare, and other community-based organizations in the city. And Dr. Gail Christopher, she's the executive director for the National Collaborative on Health Equity. Some of you may recognize her. She also used to be a part of the Kellogg Foundation and had done a lot of amazing work on racial equity and racial healing. Was our keynote speaker, and it was a very successful event, but it also provided a safe space for community members to discuss with one another and to share their personal experiences with racism and really envision a city that is equitable and that everyone has an equitable chance of thriving and living healthy lives. So that group really served as a focus group for our city, for our subcommittee, our compassionate community, to gather and consolidate community's feedback to help guide and direct our next steps as we continue to lead these efforts in our city. And some of the other upcoming projects, we have community gardens. Of course, many of these will be dependent on how safely we can gather once we get to that point. But community gardens, working with our schools and even local Girl Scout troops in the city, public art. You see that we are going to roll out some more public art projects in the coming months, hopefully. And then, of course, the racial equity work plan that we we lead in the city. So with that, on behalf of Healthy RC's Compassionate Community, we again are truly honored and grateful to be a part of this global network of communities committed to effectively preserving healthy, equitable, and resilient communities for all. If you have any questions or can help and field any questions, I'm happy to, but feel free to visit our website that you see on your screen, healthyrc.com. Our phone number is there as well, and our email address, which is what you see on your screen.
Thank you, Clarence. I just wanted to let people know several things. One, please put questions in the chat box because we are now right at the time when we are to conclude, but we're not going to. We understand that some of you might have to leave, but we have one more presentation and we certainly want to run with that presentation. We will promise that your questions will be answered in the email that we'll send out with the remainder of this recording. So please do put them in the chat box. Our last presenter, and then we'll just go directly to Joanne to put a little conclusion on all of this, is Compassionate San Diego. And you might recognize Rose Bowie's face because she was at Compassionate Pomona, and now she has really started in great fanfare, I might say, Compassionate San Diego. So we'll be hearing from Rose and also from Emily Schell. Rose?
Hello, everyone. And thank you, Marilyn, and thank you, Joanne. And thank you to my friends from Pomona. I am Rose Bowie, lead for Compassionate San Diego Initiative, a county and community initiative that began less than a year ago. And here is our logo with infinity of compassion in the heart, made by joined hands. And I'm proud to present my team with Kira Carrido-Kosser, who is the CEO for Compassionate Arts and Post for Peace and Justice, Dr. Emily Schell, CEO for Global California Education, Reverend Del Suggs from Beloved San Diego, and our local partner and individual supporters, and I'm proud to present our Youth Ambassador Council with Jordan Bowie and Madison Rose as leads. We are proud that we were able to present a youth mental health focus event in January. After we spoke to youth from interview, we found out that mental health was their utmost concern at the present time. So we focus our time to present that mental health event. And I will now turn over to Emily Shell to say a few words and present our video. Emily?
Thank you, Rose, and good morning, everyone. I'm not going to say much just because I know we're short on time, and I think our video says a lot about who we are. I just want to thank everyone for their support and work, especially you, Joanne and Rose. I'm very proud representing our school system, our K-12 teachers, and building compassion into global education and the work that we do. So here's a short 5-minute video that kind of shares where we are and what we've been doing.
Hello, dear friends. I am Dr. Rose Bowie, lead for Compassionate San Diego County and Community Initiative, a movement that began less than a year ago in March of 2020. I have worked in interfaith for 25 years plus, and I was involved in the building of Compassionate Pomona for more than 5 years. I'm proud to present to you the team leading for Compassionate San Diego with myself, renowned artist Kira Carrillo-Kosser, Dr. Emily Shell, Reverend Dale Suggs, and youth leads Jordan Bowie and Madison Rose. Jordan will be beginning the presentation. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jordan, and I am one of the youth ambassadors for Compassionate San Diego. I'm here today to talk a little bit about our youth mental health fair that was held a few weeks ago. We had 4 different panels, each led by a youth ambassador, a counselor, and an adult ally, and last but not least, a compassionate lead artist. These artists made these amazing posts that, represented some of the topics that we were discussing. And so we had 4 panels across 2 days. Our first one was coping with anxiety and worries. Second one, overcoming depression and helplessness. Third one, diversity, inclusion, and equity. And last but not least, understanding autism and its connections to mental health. I think one of the most powerful things was listening to everyone's personal experiences with some of these topics. I think it really gave and helped create a sense of community among everyone, recognizing that you're not alone in this and that there are other people who are experiencing these things. So one of the other beneficial things about this virtual mental health fair was learning about the signs and symptoms of some of these conditions and what we can do to, treat it and how we can approach these people and just support them in any way that we can. So overall, I'm really proud of all of the work that everyone put into this mental health fair, and I can't wait to continue to have some of these conversations and just encourage other people in our community to speak up about these and really reach out for help whenever they need it, because there are a lot of resources out there and everyone is really willing to help people.
All the people are trying to help, right? And if you look really closely in our eyes, it says lost and fear. And those 2 things are kind of and as well as anxiety, obviously, is blinding you from seeing that people are actually trying to help.
For months, our Compassionate Arts and Compassionate San Diego youth ambassadors told us that youth mental health was a primary problem. They needed help with coping, with anxiety, with depression, with worries.
Hi, my name is Emily Shell, and I'm very pleased to give you a quick tour of our new website, compassionatesandiego.org. Here you can find background information about who we are and what we plan to do, and as well as our connection to the Charter for Compassion and Compassionate California. We have filled the website with beautiful images from around San Diego, and of course embedded the charter. On the leaders and partners page, you can find background information about our leadership team, including our youth ambassadors. And here you can see we have many partners and a growing number of partners who are working with us to build Compassionate San Diego, including individual supporters.
Hello, my name is Reverend Dale Suggs. I am the founding pastor of a new Christian community called Beloved San Diego. I'm also the director of a new educational nonprofit called the Beloved Compassion Network. Together, Beloved San Diego and the Beloved Compassion Network are thrilled to be a part of Compassionate San Diego and Compassionate California. After all, compassion is Beloved's middle name. For me personally, it is my honor to work with the leadership team of Compassionate San Diego. Together with them, I look forward to San Diego County officially becoming a compassionate community. As we uplift compassion here in San Diego County, we thank you for your thoughts and prayers. We thank you for your words and deeds of encouragement. And we thank you for leading the way towards a more compassionate way of life here in California. Your work and your support makes a difference.
Okay, right now we are trying to continue to support our youth, and Jordan, the youth lead, is scheduling speakers to enhance and maintain the work of keeping our young people comfortable and out of trouble. And one of our speakers will be Dr. Diana Ketterman, who is on the call today. And we realize, watching our sister cities and counties, that we have a long way to go, but we are going. And we thank you for the support from the Charter for Compassion and from Compassionate California. Thank you. Marilyn?
Thank you. I thought that we were going to get another presentation. I must apologize because I overlooked that we have one more presentation from Jessica. And Jessica, I hope that I'm looking for you here. I hope you're still here. And you're willing
Hello,
to share with us.
Yes, thank you so much. Hello, everyone. My name is Jessica Bruni. I am a compassionate ambassador representing the San Bernardino County. And I first just want to say thank you for everyone that has gone before me. I'm just so proud of all the work that you guys have done, and I'm glad to be a part of this initiative. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys an initiative that we started. I just want to kind of give thanks to Laura Hansen, because with her inviting us to it was actually the California Endowment 2020 conference that we began back in 2020. And from there, just the rest was history. And we started building a relationship. And now, we've been able to collaborate on a day of healing, and also just many more initiatives moving forward. So I really just want to thank you. Today, I'll be sharing, let me see real quick, some initiatives that we began in San Bernardino County. And so we have a campaign called No Justice, No Peace, which started really from the murders of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. And we wanted to address the problem of social injustice, polarization, and exclusion. Through No Justice and No Peace mural tour, we were endeavoring to build a culture of people working together to create meaningful and beautiful artworks throughout our region. So some locations that are for the future, we look to expand across California, but right now, Fontana, Grand Terrence, Rancho Cucamonga, Moreno Valley, Victorville, Colton, and Paris. Who are we as an organization? Music Changing Lives is actually a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to providing music and art enrichment programs in the response to racial tension and outcry from the nation of police brutality. MCL is hosting a mural tour to promote harmony, healing, and peace throughout San Bernardino, Riverside, and LA counties. We've been around for 23 years, and we are proud to continue the work that we're doing with uprising the works of youth. So why? We wanted to know that we want you guys to know our purpose for creating the No Justice, No Peace mural tour is to use creative art expression to raise awareness for unity of all races, sexes, ages, religions, sexual orientations, and economic statuses. Our goal is to bring all cultures together to celebrate history, educate others on social justice issues, share resources, and beautify and revitalize local businesses and our region. So far, we've actually completed 4 murals. So if you're in this area or if you would like to see what we've completed, we've been in San Bernardino, Rialto, and Riverside, and I can go ahead and add in links for our series that we've recorded through videos. We're really seeking to sponsor to help us complete 10 more cities, and we are really excited about what we've been able to do. We've been able to count paint by numbers. And so we invite the community out. Of course, we, guidelines of COVID, just paint at a time, but also the community comes to actually help us paint the murals. So we really are, our goal is really to encourage inclusiveness in our community and to stand up against any discrimination of any kind. Really, we choose to aim for unity in the community by allowing folks to come together and paint by numbers. And so far, we've received over 5,000 digital impressions and counting. And so murals are communication tools that can be used for thoughtful demonstrations, peaceful protests, and history lessons. And we want to revitalize our communities. Before and after picture will be here. We are revitalizing our communities and local businesses by beautifying blank walls with a message of peace, hope, and inspiration. Some of our supporters have mentioned Aaron Edwards, the Riverside Council member, is that the community mural in downtown Riverside honors John Lewis and let us all leave our mark for equitable and just future. Maria was an activist and a journalist, and she mentioned that she looks forward to one day becoming one of the largest community donors, and she came out with her kids and got to paint. David Friedman for Viva La Boba, he actually mentioned that he is so proud to be able to bring these creative people down here to do something important like this. And we want you guys to be able to help us spread paint and not hate together in our communities. And you can find us on our social media platforms here on Music Changing Lives, i.e. on Twitter, Music Changing, and Instagram, Music Changing Lives. And here is some of the information, contact information directly if you guys are looking to extend even more beyond, connect beyond before this. Something also I wanted to share is our initiative for the Day of Healing. So this is another campaign that we've done with the Compassionate Capital Region, which is Choose Unity for Community. And it's a moment to reset and recharge for organizers, volunteers, and activists and people who give together. We actually have our first initiative this year, starting February 26th, so Friday. We started this last year together doing a monthly check in with everybody just to make sure that we can have a safe dialogue as well as practice wellness together. And so some things that we're going to be doing together are emotional freedom techniques, yoga, a yoga nidra, sleep meditation, and we're also going to be having a facilitated healing circle around health. And so, and letting go to be able to let in things that resonate with us this year. So I will definitely love for you guys to save the date. I'll go ahead and add the links in the chat box, but thank you so much for staying on with us. And I mentioned just, I'm so proud to be a part of this compassionate community.
So Joanne, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, everyone. That's a great start. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We apologize for going over, but obviously so much to share, so much good work being done. We will be sharing all the contacts with you, so if you didn't pick it up in the chat, no worries. We have a lot of our communities listed on the website, and especially I think it's under our work, under California communities. You can have access to resolutions, to the best link for that community. So check that out. Next one. So yeah, we are a diverse yet totally united state of compassionate champions, inspiring and sharing a common colorful vision to find and strengthen our compassion connection. And you will see our pillars. It's kind of a new take, if you remember the 6 pillars, character pillars, and with a focus on compassion. Next slide. Yeah. So if a building is to reach great heights, it must have a foundation that is dug deep and built strong and wide. Again, next.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Yeah. And if we're to reach great heights as humans, we need the same thing. California is building a strong foundation for its citizens centered on compassion. Please continue to join us in the charter as we spread compassion around the world, rooted in the content of our compassionate character. The pillars of compassionate character colors help unite us, not divide us, in a foundation of universal wellness and compassion. Martin Luther King shared that I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. We share that dream by commenting on that dream in that character. That type of character is built on a foundation of compassion. We have that vision. We have that worldwide vision, and hope we are realizing that we're Californians living together in a state of compassion. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry we didn't get to Q&A, but if there are questions out there, please put them last second here in the chat. We'll be happy to answer them offline. Thanks again, everyone, and for this amazing team and all the good work that we're doing in California and the charter around the world. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.